Play this in comments so it's not boring. Here's the Orthodox Archdiocese of America. Here we go. This is called Message regarding COVID-19 vaccinations. Here we go.
Hello, this is Metropolitan Nathaniel.
You might already be trusting him because he's wearing a robe. Only the specialist boys in the world get to wear a robe. And he has a picture of Jesus around his neck and a gold chain, which means he really loves Jesus. That's what you're supposed to be thinking, right? You see how he's speaking very slow, like he has love in his heart, and he's not upset about anything. He's just like in the spirit. He's
across our nation and across the world.
See, and they convened and they discussed it, so that means that it's right, according to them. People say, oh, they debated this for hundreds of years. That's how you know it's true. They probably just sat around jacking off.
And smallpox.
So unanimously agreed to vaccinate. These are people that are claiming to represent God. This is why I talk about this, guys. It's not because I like causing problems. You actually want to prevent this fucking thing from happening again. Never listen to these people ever again. He's calm. He's wearing Jesus on his neck. But it's full of shit. This is all full of shit. If one of his flock decides that it's not their religion, that God doesn't want them to do that, they won't help you. So you've been giving them 10%. You've been going and your wife has been telling them her naughty little secrets without you listening. You kiss this motherfucker's hand and he's not going to write you an exam. I'm not going to let this go, guys. This is the Orthodox position. Oh, not Serbian Orthodox, that's Greek Orthodox. Fuck you, man. You guys are a bunch of cowards. And people are going to tell me, like, oh, how dare you? You know what?
To this end, I've reminded the clergy of the metropolis of Chicago.
I trust no one with a collar or a robe. No, never, ever trust people with these robes. They're like the most... the Crystal Methodists with the swords, swear to God, I think are closer to God than these people. Swear to God. There wasn't a single Orthodox institutional church that didn't on some level... None of them condemned the vaccine. None. Even the ones that are like, yeah, we didn't cuck. You cucked. You all fucking cucked because it's an institution. And this robe-wearing motherfucker is going to stand there with Jesus on his neck, and he's going to tell people to kill themselves. And the Made by Jim Bobs know this, and that's one reason why. And people go, oh, you're seething. This is horseshit. This is... When you see institutions do this, never trust them again. So you're going to tell me that you trust this man or these people? Because this is an Orthodox thing. It's a Catholic thing. It's all these Baptist things. Like they all of them said to take the vaccination and they wouldn't write you letters. Marty Leeds' church is more authentically Christian than any of these people. Like Marty Leeds, just like this like gematria guy that me and him used to like have arguments, is actually doing more Christianity than any of these fucking people. Do you not understand what he's saying? He's saying God gives you free will and the right answer to express love is to take a vaccine. What a piece of shit. JJ Hempcrete Bear, it's all of them. The ones that held the line are not allowed to be priests anymore. Do you see why I've been like at war with some of this shit lately? The people accusing me of being a cult leader all just took a poison because their charismatic idols all told them to. That's actually what just happened. Yeah, corporations are more godly than the Orthodox or Vatican or Baptist or any of these mega churches. That literally Delta Airlines honors God more. And this, I know what I'm saying sounds crazy, but it's provably true.
Everything that's been debating in the last week from the Owen debate onward and where all of this new theology turning God into a technology or the new theology of there's a distant God out there and then our job is to just kind of like, be his medium and then fulfill things in the world where we're the interpreter, right? And where this all leads, right? And why... and my view is that it ends up leading mostly back to materialism, because that's your only thing that you can practice.
It all boils down to some type of epistemology, as if any type of epistemology could fully capture God. But then they say, oh, yeah, but if you go after to this point, now you're going to the good place. So
Right.
that's it.
That reminds me when I was watching the Owen debate. I remember thinking like, because the whole question of like, well, why does Christ need to be a part of the Godhead? Like, what's the point of Christ? It's like God ultimately is unknowable, but it's through Christ that He's made knowable to us humans. You know, God incarnates into a man, so the God that can't be put into a box because He is infinite and eternal puts Himself willingly into this box, into the body of a man that you can look at, that you can see, that you could interact with, to then it's like a window to see through into the infinite, into the eternal.
And not just
And
that, it's an act of humility. Otherwise, the single
Mhm.
Godhead can't actually represent humility because he
Right.
can't, because it's against the nature to. It's not in the nature ontologically to become man, right? And
Right.
to be it possible. So
It's a
that
condescension.
right. It's actually lowering self and showing that that's possible.
The trick is you don't need a pastor. Exactly, Black Lady Bear. That's why I've been going so hard in these topics. Like religion, what is it? Everybody worships. Everybody naturally puts their worship somewhere. And if you don't admit you do that, you're highly susceptible to it. Like, I don't care if it's CrossFit or the UFC or the NFL or money or whatever. So that was my point about that. But you don't need an intermediary between you and God. The fact that they've made you think that, like, you don't need a lawyer. You can speak for yourself. Now, a lot of people, I recommend getting lawyers because they don't understand the law. But a lawyer typically... back in the day, was to represent people that were mentally unfit. And so, you know, we've been programmed to saying, oh, lawyer, bring me my lawyer like it's an angel. And you don't need one. I mean, I'm not recommend. I would probably get a lawyer if things, you know, took a turn because I don't know a lot of the things, but you don't need one. You absolutely don't need a lawyer. You don't need a priest for a religious exemption. You don't need a doctor for a medical exemption. You don't need that. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act states all you have to have is a belief in something and then declare it. Yes. And that shit's powerful, man. It's powerful. You know, I don't recommend getting lost in it because some people get real lost in that. And they but when shit hits the fan, you don't need a man in a dress to speak on your behalf. It should not be a religion, but a relationship. If you consult God and His Word directly, you have your own logos. You have your own word. That's why they say in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. So you don't have words. So you don't have the ability of speech. That's what separates us from animals, right? Logic, logos, the Word. So God didn't grant all of us the ability to speak. We need a man in a dress to speak for Jesus who speaks for God. Really? And you wonder why, you know, I call you Cox. Although I would have a lawyer in situations, and that's, someone could call me a cock. Like some of these free men on the land guys would be like, why do you need another man to speak for you? I'm like, I can't fill out forms and I don't know what the fuck this means. So I get it. Just be honest about it. Just be honest about it, right? Just to be honest to yourself. I was telling that to my son last night. It's all about being honest to yourself.